Now,
turn
down
the lights.
You're
Listening to
somewhere in
Dreamland.
Well, Ms Margo, thank you for coming on my show. I'm super excited to talk with you. We first met at Atwood Lake years ago during a fall festival, and you had a powwow going on there. And I was selling some artwork, and you stopped by my booth. I'll never forget it. And you weren't at all interested in my crappy artwork. You stopped by just to tell me that you walked in from the opposite side of this huge tent with all these vendors. And you said you noticed me right away, and you came right over to me, and you said that I had some incredible bright light surrounding me and that I gave off an incredible energy. And I still really have absolutely no clue what all that means. And it scared me a little bit, but it intrigued me as well. And it set me down this kind of path of learning as I went to try to figure out as much as I could about the spiritual and paranormal side of the Native American culture, because it's something that fascinates me. I feel like a lot of the times whenever you're dealing with something paranormal or dealing with an experience or something like that, you know, the Native American folks are looking at us going, yeah, we know. Well, catch up, guys. What are you doing? You know?
Right. Been there for some time.
Yeah.
For longer than us. Right.
Right. So it intrigues me, and I brought you on because I want to try to tie some of that stuff in together, and I'm super interested in the things that you do. So you represent the East as a bone reader. And
Right.
What exactly is that, and what do you do?
Okay. So let me first introduce myself. So my name is, I go by Ms Margo. I have actually a very long name. It's Margo Adam Victoria Rihal Sanchez Serrati Smith Tyndall Smith Greenbird Jablonowski.
Wow.
I just got married a couple of years ago. But what I do, and as a chosen one for my tribe, I'm with the affiliations of Saginaw Chippewa tribe. I'm out Pleasant, Michigan. I am half Chippewa, quarter Ottawa, and then a quarter Aztec Mayan. And so when the time was coming, it's almost similar. The best way to describe it is like choosing the Dalai Lama. There were certain callings. They knew it was coming from my parents. I have a twin sister. They knew it was going to be one of us. But in my tribe and in some other tribes too, I'm known as a toll. Now, a toll is a native that has lighter color skin, hair, and eyes. So my twin sister, she has very thick hair, the true thick native hair. And hers is long and luscious. She has darker eyes and darker skin. Now, I am lighter color native, and my skin or my eyes are the color like yellow, like amber. And my hair is not as thick as my sister's. So that's how they knew it was going to be one of us. And as a chosen one, they knew it was me once we were born. So as chosen from the tribe and everything, there's a north, south, east, and west. There's 4 of us, like I said, out of 100 years that is chosen. I'm not quite sure of the other 3. I know that there's a young man, I want to say he's either 19 or 24. And he is, I believe, from the north. I am from the east. So I represent new beginnings. Anything like if you know the medicine wheel, which is all about life and everything. New beginnings, hope, birth, celebration of life. So that's what I represent as the East. So as a chosen one, as a seer, as we call myself, because I always was taught that a true shaman would never call themselves a shaman. A shaman is a healer, so I would never call myself that. But people will just know to come to me. I worked in hospitals and with children and done volunteer work and helping or healing others, and let it be mentally, emotionally, spiritually, as they go through life. So as a seer, I pick up on past, present, or future, things that are around spirit guides, angels, teachers, spirit entities and stuff. And then that's how I just know. I remember being born actually, and kind of leaving God and Jesus and being mad that I had to be here on earth. I didn't understand why I had to come here on earth. And I remember just being upset and crying, but now I know the reasons why of my calling, to do what I have to do for my work and everything as a chosen one.
Sure. Wow. That's, you got a lot on your shoulders.
Yeah, but I know, and it took me a while, to make time for Margo time, to make my own time for myself when I'm out and about and people sometimes recognize me and then they say, "Oh, tell me something about myself." And I'm like, "No, I'm with a friend or I'm with my husband or with my family. It's me time." So it's not that I can shut it off, but it's about honoring my time and space. So that took me a while. And actually from the age of 13 to 18, I had, I don't want to say ordered, but it was advised that just to stop and make a decision if this is the path that I wanted to choose and to get to know society more. I worked and stuff like that. And I just knew my calling from when I was a little child, what I needed to do.
Yeah. How old were you when you first realized that you had this special gift?
Oh, as soon as I was born, even in my mother's womb, I remember teething. I remember sitting in the crib. I remember myself as a young baby, even, I don't want to say coming down the womb, but I remember being in my mother's womb. And like I said, leaving God, Jesus, heavens, as everyone calls it here, leaving that one dimension to come to this dimension.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, being a seer, is that the same as being like psychic or clairvoyant or?
Well, as I'm taught, it is higher up because I can see, hear, smell. I can use all my senses, even taste things sometimes, which I have a great story to tell you. And taste things, I don't know how to describe it. It comes sometimes in pictures, words, or just as loud as it could be. I work, I guess, directly with God, Creator. And he tells me to tell other people what I'm picking up on. Now, I am also taught never to approach anyone, that always are to come to me, unless it's giving gratitude or something like you said. I had approached you and I just saw this illuminating light and I was just like, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I still don't know why, but I don't think I ever asked you, and I don't think you ever told me, and it doesn't really matter at this point.
Right.
But it was cool that you did do that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So as a seer, I just pick up, like I said, I'm past, present, future things, or I can sometimes see a lot of the times through other people's eyes, or get their vision. If it's a person that I'm speaking with, I don't need pictures. I don't need information. If they give me a name, I can see through that person's eyes or see them actually and what they look like or how they're dressed. Or sometimes everyone comes at a different age to me than what they anticipate of.
Okay. Do you ever get warnings? And what about people with health issues? Can you tell health issues sometimes?
Yeah, at times I sure can. And just as the warning, I was just, before getting on air, we were talking about the storm that kind of hit last night, the other night here in Michigan. And my husband had parked his car underneath the tree. And we have a whole bunch of willow trees and oak trees and stuff. And I was thinking he should move that because we had a drumming circle. And he didn't. And I kept on thinking, gosh, it's getting dark out. He should move his car. And I mentioned it to him and he was going to do it. And then, anyways, long story short, a tree fell, hit his car, bashed out the back of his window. And I'm like, see, should have listened to me. I might not get the whole picture of what's going to happen, but I'll get that feeling like, whoa, I just feel this. Or I'll mention a lot of this to my husband. Like, I really feel someone might be ill. And I always tell them not to say anything. I feel like they're going through a lot because, again, they are to approach me, to respect everyone's space and everything.
Right.
Right.
Um, so have you ever used your abilities to help law enforcement and things like that?
Yes, I actually have worked with 3 police departments and Mount Pleasant, Battle Creek, and Birmingham. And 2 of them were a murder case, which was really unfortunate. One was in Mount Pleasant. I was able to pick up where this little boy was, and that was very hard. It's difficult, and his life was taken. And I couldn't exactly pinpoint it, but I could see what had happened. The other one was in Birmingham, was a woman who was missing. I walked through her apartment, and I said, she's out west. I said, and her mind's just discombobulated. And I said, she's okay, but she's just not, there's something going on. I don't know if it was mentally, if it was like hypoglycemic, or if it just felt like she was in a daze. I don't know if she was on drugs or anything, but I felt like she was in a daze. Anyways, long story short again is that a truck driver picked her up, and she was out in California, all the way from Birmingham, Michigan. How they got out, she got out there, no one knew. Wow. She was just missing for a week, and she ended up coming home. And within a week of her being home, she had taken a different route to go on the other side. Mm-hmm.
That's probably another really good reason why you want people to come to you and you don't go to them, because I know I've spoke with a couple other very talented people in the psychic community who have information, but they're afraid to go to the police department because then they'll be, under the radar of maybe a suspect. Mm-hmm. So that's a really good reason to practice it that way, I guess.
Yes, and I think it's about honoring, that space and time, like I said, honoring one another where they're at in life. Some people are just not ready to deal with things in their life, or are not ready to open up. And it's respecting where they're at in lifeline. Sure.
Yeah. So what types of tools do you use other than your natural gifts when you're practicing?
Well, actually, bones and stones are passed down and are my culture to me. And there's, I don't know, probably about over 100 animal bones and stones that are passed down. Now, some of them are taken, some of them people have had, my wolf bone one time was somebody stole it. Or sometimes people shake the animal bones and stones and they scatter them like throughout the room or wherever we're at now. Have some missing and some will be gifted to us. But I don't necessarily need that because I have clients from Singapore, Germany, South Africa, Venezuela, and they all call in where I'm just talking to them on the phone. And when we first start, I always tell everyone, don't tell me anything. I don't need to know any dates or anything like that. I'm just going to tell you right what I'm picking up on. And then at the end of every session, they're able to ask their questions. Even when I have the one-on-one that's face-to-face, the animal bones and stones is to help them to open up or to relax a little bit. And I do pick up on things and how things are, let it be placed or shifted. Because one object, like a whale tooth, can represent over 200 different things, depending on about which way it's facing, north, south, east, and west, what it's laying by and everything. So, it varies, but it's not needed or necessary.
So it is possible to establish like a psychic connection with someone just by voice, just by speaking with them over the phone.
Definitely. I think that and just our energy, because we have, when we hear things about like what's happening in different cultures and stuff, when you have an open heart, you can feel their pain. You have empathy and sympathy for others. You might not know exactly what they're going through, but you can pick up on that feeling. And I think it just expands with me.
So how long exactly have you been doing this?
Be 56 years.
Okay. Wow. So you know what you're doing. You're well down that path of,
I do.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
But, and I always tell everyone, raised Catholic and I'm raised in my native traditions. And I do believe in, Lord Jesus Christ, God, Mother Earth, Creator, but I also believe in and have respect for all religion and spirituality. I might not understand it. Like I believe a little Kabbalah in me and Buddhist in me. I just love it. I love the passion that people have in what they believe in. And like I said, it might not be all for me. If somebody is Baptist and they dance with the snakes and they sing to them and kiss them, I'm going to be your friend and I'm going to stand over here, but I'm going to root you on. Right. I'm going to root you on all the way. I'll come and watch, but that's I know my limit too. So, sometimes being judged, it's okay because I just be mindful that even Jesus, no one liked Jesus when he first came down here. And I'm okay with that people are going to judge but they have to judge what's best for themselves.
I think that that's a very important message. And I think that if you really look at religion as a whole, and instead of trying to judge someone based on something, I mean, it even goes with like race, right? Even trying to judge somebody based on a different ideal or a different skin color or something like that. Just take in what they have to offer and take the best parts of that and, like bring it into yourself, make it part of you because everybody has something good to offer. And I believe every religion in their way has something good to offer. And I think we definitely have a lot less wars, wouldn't we?
Right. Definitely.
So
just listen and respect one another. I know our minds can get carried away and with different thoughts and, there is unfortunately not always good or evil, as some people would say on here on earth, but I think it's beautiful too, and I do believe in, fairies and Sasquatch and the paranormal and, why not? It's not harming anyone. And if people call me crazy or whatever, okay, well, that's all right too. I don't have to see to believe.
Well, I think they go hand in hand with a lot of it in their own respect, So have you ever read anything other than a person, perhaps like a pet or an object or something weird, cursed or anything like that?
People have come to me with a lot of objects and stuff or animals, definitely animals. I think somebody came to me and brought a snake, which I did hold, which surprised me, but I had, no fear. It wasn't like a big snake. It wasn't a garden snake. I know that. It was like a python. So, to pick up on the energy and what it was going through or thinking or the illness of it, the diet or whatever, I can pick up on things like that. I've had people actually, now I remember this lady, she came to see me and she came a long way. Actually, I think she lived in Ohio. She didn't want to bring her cat, but she brought her cat's urine to me, which I thought it was all in a jar. And I thought it was really strange. And no, but I'm not to judge. I wasn't going to sniff it or open up the jar. And I was just like, no, it's okay. But let me, I was thinking, why couldn't you just bring a pitcher? Why do you have to bring the cat urine, Yeah. But again, people, want some things that are, let it be a memory or something that they have that they value or they're trying to pick up on, and even jewelry. Sometimes I don't even, a lot of times I don't need it. I tell people you're allowed to bring pictures and objects. It's not needed or necessary. I don't need to see them, but I ask for them to be face down always. So I don't see them. So I'm picking up on the true essence of what I see and feel and everything.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't. But it's really, really, really cool that people are able to do that. I don't think I have any psychic abilities, even though I've been told I do. I just don't think that I do. Maybe I just ignore them. I don't know, or maybe I just don't know, enough about it, and it kind of freaks me out. I think there's lots of people out there with abilities that happens to.
Sure. And my mother would always say, not everyone can be a psychic or medium. Not everyone can be a brain surgeon. Not everyone can, will have the gift, might have intuition or might go back and forth. And it's okay. Not everyone is to have what everyone else is do, what everyone is capable of doing.
Right. So let's talk about Sasquatch for a minute.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big.
Have you seen it? He is pretty big.
Yeah. No, I mean, the Native American people in general pretty much believe in Sasquatch. And
Yes.
I want to know what they believe this thing to be. And I don't, Native American people tend to honor animals, I think, a little bit more, even though you may need to hunt out a necessity after you've killed the animal. You kind of honor that animal.
Right. You always give reverence. Always give reverence.
Right. And I want to know kind of like the thought process between Sasquatch and the Native American people. Like, what do you guys like? Is it something you guys hold? Is it something you fear? Or what do you think of it?
I'm not allowed to tell you. No, I'm just kidding.
I wouldn't doubt that at all. I've actually heard people say that before.
Well, there's some, I mean, because I don't know everything, and what I pick up on and what my father had told me, that there is, I don't see Sasquatch as an enemy or ruthless or out to get. It's not, to me, a negative energy. Let it be another creature that was created to live here on Earth and is able to maneuver, is different from a shapeshifter completely. But it is to walking under that they're able to hide and able to not be seen or survive all these years. And different countries, just same as like UFOs, you know, back in the Egyptian time, people were drawing that pictures of the UFO. But way back then, even Sasquatch and stuff, in different areas and stuff. And so obviously there's other things that are going here on Earth that people need to be open-minded to, or to, I don't want to say believe, because some people need to have tangible things, which I totally understand. But it's a great honor. I think that Sasquatch is, a person with cleverness and skills. May not be able to speak our language or, communicate, but they've survived all these years.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that things in the paranormal and the psychic fields are connected? This phenomena is all connected somehow?
I do believe that it's all somehow connected with energy or a different dimension, I want to say. I always say at times when I go into my my mentalness, when I'm doing sessions, I'm at a 32 dimension, which is completely different than what we're known here as humans, to speak what I see and feel, let it be my truth or, and I can be wrong. I'm not 100% accurate. I don't know everything, and I'm not a mind reader. But I believe the combination of that, the unknown, is incredible. And we're always learning and exploring and expanding our minds. And there's so much that we just don't know and see or even trust. Similar to the government, I should say.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they know quite a bit more than we do about all that stuff anyway.
Right.
So have you ever read anybody that just totally freaked you out?
No, but I did. No, I've never have done that. But I did read this lady. She was in Michigan, and she had struggled with a lot of things in her life. And it was incredible. It was an incredible session. But after when I was done, I remember her mother was standing off to the side, and I got up and I left, and I was crying. I mean, like really crying hard. I had to go walk away from her because I felt like something of her passing or her not being around anymore. But I also felt like she couldn't give up, because at times that she would. And she still had a few more things to do, but I felt it come up around her really soon. And it can be very overwhelming when you see this. You know, I am only to forewarn, you know, to take care of yourself, go see a doctor, or this seems a little low, or I see spots on you to get this checked out. So when things of health or danger come up, I'm only to forewarn. And then that person is to take their path the way that they choose to. So sometimes it's very difficult emotionally and mentally. After when I do a big show on a weekend, it takes me a few days to recuperate. I'm like Jello rubber. Yeah. I'm like, you know, and I like to drive home and just, it clears my mind. The driving on the road, on the highway, I can see a lot of spirit guides and, you know, people have walked the earth before or walked that path on that road before. I see them and I feel that they're healing me as I'm driving. And so when I get home, I'm exhausted and I just rest. I just shut off my phone. I honor that space and time to be where I'm at, to recuperate.
I mean, I think that's probably a pretty important part for you to do.
Right.
So.
And being in the paranormal, I mean, do you believe in Sasquatch and all the unknown things or witness anything?
Oh yeah, I believe there's something out there. Look, there's too many reports, and like you said, they're all over the world. It isn't just here in the States. I just don't know what it is. I'm to the point where I don't believe it's a flesh and blood creature. I think it may be something interdimensional. Because look, you could be the world's best hide and go seek player, and you know, eventually you're going to get found. And we haven't found this thing yet. So I think that it's zipping in and out of time and space somehow.
That is great. Yeah, I never thought about that. Or even like they're discovering underground, you know, similar cities or underground things that we have not discovered, or things, you know, different lands and stuff like that are further down tunnels, and it's all dry down there, or different lakes that have been down that are deeper than, you know, our diving point. So, you know, let it be a hiding, or let it be the way that they can camouflage themselves and fit in. I think it's beautiful. I'd probably be scared if I see something like that. I would be alarmed. I'm not going to lie. But, you know, I just figure if that's the way I'm going down, it's the way I'm going down. I'd rather have a cupcake in my hand or something. But
Sure.
You know.
There are lots of reports as well that I've uncovered of, and I've heard of people actually witnessing Sasquatch with UFOs, which is pretty interesting. So yeah, I mean, I just find that interesting that they're actually spotting them with UFOs and such. So,
and it's just, you know, and not just the UFOs, the underwater cities that are expanding, opening up, or, you know, the documents that are, let it be our government or whoever hides them, about, you know, our pilots seeing things and experiences and stuff like that. I think it's all coming more to their service, because we as humans want to know the truth. Even like the giants that used to walk the earth. I mean, we have evidence and bones, you know, we have dinosaur bones and stuff like that. We just want to know. Sure.
And we're getting so technologically advanced now that it's kind of hard to keep information quiet from, you know, with the internet and everything. And everybody's got a high definition camera in their pocket at all times. You know, it's getting harder and harder to keep this stuff away from everybody. So I think that we're living in a pivotal point in time for all this stuff.
You know, I do too. And I think that trusting it, you know, my husband loves the paranormal. And since I met him and everything, and he always has really engulfed himself more into that. And we always talk about our backyard, because I said, you know, a UFO could land here because it's perfect landing spot. It would be quiet. Nobody could tell. And I always say, you know, maybe you should put a big X, or, you know, something on the, you know, so they can land. But it's fascinating. And he goes, I want to see that. And and he does believe without seeing. He thinks it's fascinating. To, and more knowledge. I mean, yes, we do. We haven't even hit the iceberg of our electronical world and stuff. I mean, we're just at the very first tip of everything, and there's so much more. There's so much coming.
I agree. Well, you guys live up in the land of the dog man up there. And I know when I lived in Ohio, dog man was a big thing in the area that I lived in. I was real close to Silver Creek. So it was a really big thing up there. And not a lot of people down here in the South know too much about dog man, which I find interesting because they don't have too many accounts of it down here.
But don't you guys have, isn't it Mothman that's down where you're at?
Well, Mothman's it's in West Virginia and Ohio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have the lizard man down here.
Oh, the lizard man. Okay.
Which I think actually is a Bigfoot that comes out of the swamp. That came out of the swamp, and somebody, I think it had some moss and some swamp junk on it, and I think somebody thought it looked like a lizard because it was dark, and I just think it was a Bigfoot, man. I do.
Yeah. And because Bigfoot is smart, like I said, he's very smart. He knows how to hide, and knows how to bend and not to be seen, and because maybe I don't want to say male or female. It doesn't want to be hurt, because that's what our normal reaction is to kill or to when we're unsure, we want to destroy, or sometimes people just don't want to approach it. They get scared.
Well, I think that's human nature, just to kill anyway. So for the most part, especially when we're scared and everything else. So, I mean, it'd make me a good hider if I was afraid of that,
Right.
So I want to get back to your abilities a little bit. I have a question. Okay. When you pick up on something health-wise from somebody, do you feel that? How do you get that information?
Well, it comes in different ways. And like I said, sometimes I'll actually feel it or I'll see it in their body. I'll see spots, or sometimes I can't describe it. I'll hear what God has told me for that person, what they should do, or to go get checked out, or to be careful or something. But I can see it. I can feel it. Like I said, sometimes I can taste things. I can see their pain or what's going to come in the future for their illness, because we're all going to die one day. Sure. If a car accident or something like that, or anything like that. So it comes sometimes in pictures, or just a flash, or just straightforward. I just get the answer from God, like, tell them this, or that's the best way I can describe it, because I don't really have words. I just see it. Yeah,
it just happens to you. I get it. It's a pretty common answer, actually, with people that are psychic and have psychic abilities. They don't really know. The best way that they can put it into terms that someone can understand is by saying sight and feeling, and it comes in waves of different forms. So,
yeah, definitely. For each person, it's sometimes completely different. And like I said, I close my eyes and I can just feel their energy and what's happening. And like I've said before, I'm not 100% accurate or anything like that. I mean, no one is. And I'm glad I don't know everything. I'm so thankful. Thank God I don't know everything. That'd be awful.
Yeah.
I don't want to know if people are wearing underwear or not. I don't want to know everything.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be a mind reader. So it's trusting what I'm picking up on and what to say. And there's proper etiquette to me. There's proper etiquette in how you deliver a message. You don't want to say, yes, you're going to die tomorrow. You only got 3 days to live. I mean, because you want that person to have fulfillment or to complete what they're supposed to be doing.
Right. Yeah. Me personally, like, I don't want to know when I'm going to die. I don't want to know. I just don't. Like,
right.
It kind of takes away the fun of living when you're gonna die.
Right. Because some people get stuck in that mode. Or some people go complete opposite and go, I'm going skydiving naked now.
Yeah.
I'm going to live dangerous. I'm going to cook bacon naked on high, or whatever.
Yeah, I know. I have a buddy who knows all about cooking bacon with his underwear on. We nicknamed him Bernie.
Okay.
His parents even call him Bernie. So.
Oh. You don't do that. Don't do that.
See, if he had your abilities, he would have known he was going to get burnt.
Right. He should have called me. He should have
He should have for sure. Oh shoot. So when you get warnings in future events, those come as pictures. And have you ever had anything like that you just didn't want to see?
Yes, when it comes to children and stuff, there's a lot. And it's not just seeing it, it's actually feeling it. And it's just not feeling it. It's actually going through that experience for myself. Like I said, seeing through their eyes and what will happen, or what could happen to them if they don't change, or if they don't, if they stay where they're at. And seeing that can be very difficult, very challenging. But again, there's a proper way to deliver a message for them to understand it and hopefully, walk a better path or get checked out or something.
I know that you mentioned you have dreams sometimes that deliver things, messages to you. I'll tell you what, Ms Margo, weekly, I have dreams that come true. Or something like that. So that's a really weird thing for me because it happens to me damn near weekly. So how often does that happen to you?
I would say pretty much nightly. So, most of the time I can remember. Sometimes my husband says I talk in my sleep a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll wake up and I'll tell him a message. Not sure what it's for or who it's for, but I'll tell them, like, I saw this and this and this, or I felt this and this and this, or a weird story of, water changing into something else. And I'll tell them things. I don't write them down or anything because it's, to me, let it be past, present, or future that I'm thinking of. I'm not to overanalyze it, because then it'll make me stuck there.
Sure.
Or forewarn, or I'll reach out to that person, and I do this many times and just say, hey, how are you doing? Just keeping it simple. And it's kind of funny having friends, because when you call them and you do what I do and you just to say hi, they're like, is something wrong? Is something going on with me? And I'm like, no, I'm just actually calling just to say hi. Like, I miss you. Are you okay?
Yeah, it's kind of like me. I have a friend who's a psychologist, and we'll sit down and have deep conversations, and they're really great. And then halfway through that conversation, I'm like, wait a minute, are you analyzing me right now? What's going on?
Right.
I always freak out almost every time because he'll say something and I'll be like, wait a minute here. Are you
right?
What's going on?
Are you diving deep in my psyche ability or what's going on in my life? Yeah.
So I'm sure it's the same for you. And he always laughs and says, why do you always say that? We're having a good conversation. So I'm sure you get some of that on your end too.
Oh, definitely. And, I've learned, about friendship and crossing that friendship. If I met them as a client, or if I met them as just a genuine person, so I've learned that I had to set my boundaries, and that goes with anybody. You have to set your boundaries because some people will constantly call you, or I've had people want to constantly call me and rely on me. And I'm like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
It's not for that. My services doesn't work that way. You call me when you feel that you're ready, but not on a weekly, daily basis. I mean,
plus it gets you to the point where you're like, oh my gosh, like, is this person a friend? Are they using me? What's going on?
Sure. Not just that, but then they're forgetting to live their own life and relying on someone else to live it.
True. Very true.
Right. I had told you that I had picked up on, even taste and stuff. So what had happened was this lady came and saw me. And when she saw me and I'm finishing up, I said, I have to tell you, to this lady, I said, I have this taste in my mouth. And I said, and I can't stand it. It's butter pecan ice cream. I said, I said, I don't like butter pecan. I got sick on it one time when I was a little girl. I said, but this other woman tells me to tell you that she's eating butter pecan ice cream. Well, then the lady that was in front of me started crying. She goes, the lady, my partner, had just died, and that was the last thing she ate. It was her favorite thing was butter pecan ice cream.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh, God, like I was shocked, like, wow, like how that came through and how that was supposed to come through. Let it be validation for her or, my experience and everything. I also had somebody very sacred come to me, and this was it was very challenging. I felt a lot of things. It was a man, and I kept on seeing a lot of clothing. I said, whatever you're going through, I said, you're going to be on like a pension or something, or like just for a while. It's going to, be at you're going to be at a standstill and judge. I said, but you're going to make it through. I said, there's a lot of forgiveness around you. And I said, I was telling him I got really personal and deep with him. And I said, you're just so high above that we all make mistakes. So when we were finishing up, he was telling me, he goes, I'm a priest and I'm not allowed to come and see you. He goes, but I didn't know what else to do. He goes, he came to see me 3 times actually. So the second time when he came, he told me, he goes, I am a priest. And the first time I saw you, I didn't believe all what was happening and what you were saying. And he goes, I was going to go home. I had already bought the rope. I was going to hang myself because he did something that was against the church. And it wasn't, it was at a calming level, I should say. It wasn't, to me, it wasn't like drastic, but still everyone, everyone has their own point of view. He took something he shouldn't have.
Sure.
So I was like, wow, I was, because being raised Catholic, knowing the rules and regulations and stuff. And then I saved a man's life. And that's what he said. He goes, you saved my life. He goes, I had it all planned. He goes, if you weren't going to help me. So I think, wow, that's incredible. It's beautiful. And that he's okay. And he's still doing what he's doing. And it's private and personal. Like I always have one-on-one with clients and everything. Even when couples come to see me, I do one-on-one. I make sure that, if you want to share the info, you can, but you don't have to. But again, picking up on things and let it be and going more detailed and stuff. But it's personal.
Yeah. I'll tell you, when you guys are on, you're on. You psychics and mediums, and it blows me away. I had spoken to a psychic another time, and it was he had some of the same abilities as you. And the whole time that I spoke with him, I'm like, okay, like, all right. And he asked me the standard questions. Well, I can read you. Do you want to know when you're going to die? I'm like, nope, I don't. I really don't want to know. So the whole time I'm like, okay, here we go. So at the end of the show, he's like, hey, I wanted to tell you that there's somebody here who has a message for you. And he would like to deliver it. Do you want to hear it? And I'm like, okay. We were off the air at this point, Well, see, 2 weeks before this, one of my sons was begging me to go fishing, and it's just hard finding time and doing all this stuff. And we got the tackle boxes out and got the fishing poles ready, and we were doing all this stuff. Now, my grandfather was a very important figure in my life growing up, and that's what we used to do, is go fishing all the time. And so off the air, he says, well, I got a guy here. He's a really big guy, which my grandfather was. And he said he's wearing a ball cap, and he's got suspenders. And I'm thinking, oh, that sounds like my grandpa, but I'm not letting him know that, And he goes, he just wants to tell you one message. And I go, okay, what's that? And he says, do more fishing. And I'll tell you what, I about fell out of my chair. I was like, wow, like the timing that he delivered that message and everything else just blew me away. Like, I'm like, wow.
Right.
So every ounce of any doubt that I had in this guy before this was like over, like I was like, wow, well, okay. Now I'm a believer, So
That's awesome.
yeah, stuff like that is kind of, when you have somebody come back and tell you something like that, it's also validation for yourself as well.
Right.
So
Right.
it's kind of something to build on for yourself as well.
Right. And let it be part of your healing too, that you need to hear and stuff. I always say there's good doctors, there's bad doctors, there's good psychics, there's bad psychics. I mean, there's people that will try to scam you out of money or say things, or, even, cashiers or whatever, good workers and bad workers. So
Sure.
it's always, I always say when you go and see somebody, to trust, to trust, be open-minded, sit there, let them tell you what they're picking up on. You shouldn't have to say anything to anyone. You shouldn't have to give them dates or anything like that, but everyone works differently. So, but that's just what I'm taught,
Right.
and the person that gave you and delivered that message, it was needed and necessary for your healing, not just for your belief system, but for your healing and validation.
Sure. I mean, it meant a lot of things to me. It was a pretty incredible experience, and it's one I'll never forget. I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, there's a lot of those that I get and stuff, and people calling me back and being thankful and stuff, and which is beautiful. Like it gives me that I'm knowing. It makes me know that I'm on the right path for myself and for others. When I get valid, when people confirm or say thank you or reach back out to me, so that's great.
Yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt. So let's talk about your website for a minute, and then I want to give you a chance to go ahead and plug all of everything that you have going on. Your website is fantastic, by the way. It's very nicely done, very easy to navigate. I like it. You have a spot on there where people can contact you for a reading, and you also are selling like protection oils and soaps and so forth on the site. On top of that, I noticed that you will do some traveling to read someone sometimes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's a really cool website, and I think that it's something that all my listeners should go check out, especially if they're interested in having you read for them, because I think you lay it out pretty nice on that site.
Yeah, easy breezy. That's why I say easy breezy. And a lot of the artwork and stuff like that, I do not put up on my website. I make dream catchers traditionally out of willow, or I use brass, which is non-traditional. I don't put any of those items up because of the spirituality of them. They are to fit each individual. No two dream catchers are to be alike, because there's no two people alike. So each one is to be different. So I don't put any of those up, not because of copying, because it would be impossible, but just because of the spirituality. And I do wood carvings. I make furniture, getting more into that. And, I make 26 different organic goat milk soaps, and a lot of them have different stories or healings or medicinal stories behind them. And I make one that's very popular. It's called SOB soap. And the SOB soap, I was dating a guy, and his name, this guy, his name is Bob, but he loved the smell of nunchumpa, and I love the smell of wisteria. So I combined those two, and I was going to come up with a name. Well, then he broke up with me, so I called it SOB Soap on Body. Well, now I'm married to the guy, and my husband's name is Bob, and so now I call it something about Bob.
That's funny.
So I have, I have one that's called How to Catch a Man, and there's a lot of different stories. But I make this beautiful protection oil because some people cannot light sage in their workplace, or they sneeze and cough. Some people are allergic to sage. And my nephew, at the time when he was younger, he was very highly asthmatic with smoke, even though it's very healing and everything, and it purifies the air. So I mix chamomile and sage oil together, and it's protection oil. And he was able to handle that, and it smells awesome. I can't tell you how much. I mean, it just is. It's a great smell, but it's to protect you from negative and clearing negative. And you spray it instead of, you can wear it on your body, put it in your bath, spray some in your car or your office space, to get rid of negative energy.
Now, can they order some of this from you if they get a hold of you on your website?
Oh, definitely. Now my website, you can go to Ms Margo, MSMARGO.com or thebonereader.com. I have so many things that are directed to my website, but usually the Bone Reader, READER.com or Ms Margo, MS, and then MARGO. But it's all listed there, and I'm faster by text. When people email me, it takes me a little bit longer. Or sometimes Julie, my assistant, will go through if I'm on the road, she'll go through my emails and stuff. But text me, I'm just a lot faster that way.
Awesome. So what's coming up next for you? What do you got coming up on your plane of existence?
We just got back from Raleigh, North Carolina. We're going to be back in Raleigh, North Carolina in February. But we have the Peach Festival, and then we're going to do Grand Rapids Powwow. Ooh. And then we're going to be doing a Body, Mind, Spirit. And then we're going to be right where we met at Atwood Lake in Ohio at that powwow. It's just not a powwow. They have so much going on over there. It's a craft show. It's cool. I love going there. I'm so glad they brought it back and opened the doors again.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to go there. There's so many people that come through there, too.
Right.
And Atwood is a fantastic lake. It really is.
I've never gone swimming in there, but we're going to camp it. And they have a craft show, an aircraft show, car show, hay rides, little haunted village and music. And yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Food. They got food.
Lots of food.
Yes.
All right, Ms. Margo. Well, I really appreciate you taking time out to speak with me. And I thank you very much. And I would love to do it again sometime.
Awesome. Whenever you're ready and everything, maybe we could take live readers and people just call in and do it right there and then.
I believe we can do that. That sounds like fun.
Okay, sounds well.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. God bless.
You too. Bye.
Bye.